And welcome back to KTN's Morning Express. I'm now joined in studio by Kate Kibara, who I have erroneously been calling Kabira. I'm sorry, you're Kibara. She's a nutritionist, and therefore we're going to be talking about two of my favorite things, Christmas and food. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, I mean, the guest who's just left right now was telling us to take milk and take it in plenty.
Yogurt.
Yeah. And you just said right now that you wouldn't like a glass of milk on your table. You'd much prefer water. Let's just begin there. Is this a problem?
No, there's no problem. But at this moment and at this time when I'm doing a show, I'd rather take water. Water is life. It's gonna give me energy. It's going to make my my presentation throughout this show or interview more active than it was if it was milk. I'm not saying milk is bad. Animal protein is one of the best sources of calcium, of amino acids than any other source. So you never get that from vegetable source. And that's why we advise as nutritionists, if you're a strict vegan, then you need to get your alternative source of these minerals and vitamins that you're going to miss out if you're a strict vegan. So milk is excellent and yogurt is also
So
good.
it's not bad. Go for it.
No, it's
is what
not
you're saying.
bad.
Okay. So why don't we talk about the festivities and how we just go ham, really, on food. Actually, it began on Jamhuri Day and it will continue all the way until the new year.
That's the thing. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, a group of people, and they were saying, we've already started our festivities. And unfortunately, in our mind, what does it mean? It just means overindulging. Whether it's on the drinks, whether it's on the food, just taking too much than you need at that time. And for most of us, we decide that I've been so nice the whole year. You know, I have been so faithful. I've been taking my salads. I've been doing my veggies. I've been doing everything right. I've been exercising. But these 2-3 weeks, this whole month is my time to let go.
That's me, actually. I woke up this morning and I had leftover nyama choma.
Is that habit?
At 4:30 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, so obviously that's bad, is what you're saying.
You know, the thing is, you know, about our health is much more, not just what goes around our head, but how you plan for it. There's so much going on today in this day in life. Look at our current health situation in Kenya. Look at our children getting diabetes. You know, there's obesity in children. I was telling a friend of mine, I was at the gym 3 days ago, and we had a 3-year-old exercising with dumbbells. Think of a 3-year-old lifting dumbbells. The little boy did not even know what he was doing. But because he's been told he has to do that, or she has to go through that. So even as we decide that it's time to eat, and I agree, that festivities is about food. You would not have a party. I would not come to your house if I did not have, you know, the nice nyama choma, you know, all those foods that we like. But we need to plan in advance. You need to strategize. If for you to fit in this society and to fit in the world today, to fit in these things that are going around us, a lot of degenerative diseases, obesity on the increase, cancers, diabetes, you need to plan such that even if you don't to kill yourself in 2 weeks.
Okay, so let's zoom in on very specific meals. Nyama choma is in plenty, or barbecue for those of you who might not understand that. And every home you go to, it's almost guaranteed that you will find roast meat. So what is the proper portion in a day? And how do you stop yourself? Because it's just so delicious.
You know, when it comes to the festivities, it's tricky. Because as a nutritionist, I may not tell you that you need just 50 grams.
But ideally, what is the ideal portion?
In a day, you need 50 grams, between 40 to 80 grams of nyama choma. So that means if you had a quarter meat, it should last you for a week.
What?
Yeah, a quarter piece of meat should take you for a week. Because that's what your body needs, and that's your RDA for the day, for the week, or for every day. So it's always a problem when you take too much of that. If you're going to take more than a quarter for a week, then there's a problem. And that's why we have all these things that come because you're taking too much of the nyama choma, you're taking too much of the beef stew, you're taking too much of the, you know, deep fried chicken. It's only because we do in excesses. Otherwise, meat in the right portions, right quality, and when it's cooked the right way And of course, if it's reared the right way, it's excellent for your health. You need that. So for the festivities, what do you need to do? Of course, meat will be there. I know.
Yeah, and I'm going to take more than a quarter in a day.
Then there are tips that you need to do to control that. In your mind, you know that that's what I need to do when I go when I come for your party. But in my mind, I need to do simple things that you can do at home to control that. Don't stay hungry. It's Christmas morning. You tell your children and everybody else in your house, don't eat. Because you're going to your house, you'll eat everything. That happens. It's normal.
That sounds so familiar.
Yes, so you are not going to eat. You're sparing your stomach for that meal that you're going to have at that party or whatever, even if it's in your house. You stay hungry. Don't do that. Because if you stay hungry, you won't do your quota, like I said. You won't do the 40, 50 grams that is required in that day. You'll sit there and you'll eat a kilo on your own. So to control you overindulging, to control your overindulgence or you taking more than you need at that time, don't skip meals. And then eat regularly. Ensure that you don't stay hungry, because if you stay hungry, that's when you'll go, and then after the nyama choma, there's dessert. Of course, there's chocolate, there are cakes, there are all these things that you salivate for. And like I said, maybe you've been healthy throughout, or it's your time to let go. So if you control at that time, you're not hungry throughout these festivities, then you're able to eat less of, you're able to take more or less portions of these items that should be taken in moderation.
Okay. So one of the things you're saying is don't wait for that big Christmas lunch.
No.
Do have a breakfast and have all the meals in between that you would otherwise.
Yes, and even another trick, if you're supposed to go for lunch at 2, midday have a salad in your house. Just drink water. In fact, water. Let me start with water. Water is the second most important nutrient in our systems. It's life. Apart from that, is that it's an appetite suppressant. So if you drink water just before you go, it's going to two things. It's going to cleanse all these things that you're taking. It's going to help your system remove them so that you don't stay with stuff in your body even after the festivities. Apart from that, it makes you eat less. Okay. So water is a tip. High fiber foods. If you just ate a healthy snack, just a snack, it doesn't have to be a meal.
What's a healthy snack? My idea of a snack, as you've heard from this morning, is nyama choma.
A handful of nuts. You know, it's something that you enjoy through this time, because festivities is when you enjoy what you like. You can do nuts, cashew nuts, almonds, you know, peanuts, something that you like, a handful of that. You can do a sandwich, a healthy sandwich, just before you leave. Or even on the way. Even a banana, even an apple. Something that reduces your appetite before you get there. Because chances of you eating unhealthy when you're hungry, you'll eat so much of those foods that you did not intend to. It's only that your stomach was empty and your mind was controlling you at that time.
And so what are the consequences of then overindulging, having more than a quarter of a kilo of meat in a week, one, and then the starches as well. You know, there's lots of chapatis, there's mokimo, there's rice, there's
everything.
Yeah, there's plenty of ugali.
You know, the thing is, please work on your portions and be realistic. Work in moderation. Even if you're going to eat those things that you don't like, let's talk about or the foods that are most unhealthy. If you were to look at the scale, eat small portions of those so that you also feel that you are part of the festivities. But the downside is, unfortunately, disease is a process. It's not something that shows overnight. In those 2 weeks, even if it's the whole of this month, you may not see the changes. The only thing that you may notice is that your weight has increased by a kilo. And unfortunately is that we tell our minds that I'll start eating healthy in January, but that never happens. I'm telling you, if you're not disciplined over this time, January comes the first week, the second week, it's your New Year resolutions. It was your New Year resolutions last year. It still is right now. So it's because you cannot hold on to that. So don't put a lot of emphasis that that's what I'm going to do. But the thing is, this is a process. Your body changes all that time. All these things that are unhealthy that you're going to put in your system in 2 weeks, whether it's excess sugar, whether it's excess fat, whether it's excess salt, and all these toxins that are in your system, if there is no way for them to get out of your system through exercise, through detoxification, through, getting into a healthy lifestyle, unfortunately, they stay with you. Okay. And that's why we have degenerative diseases on the increase.
So you're saying that overindulgence of 2 weeks could actually lead to a lifelong disease.
Absolutely,
that you have to deal
because, You know, when I eat a kilo of meat right now, or on that day, my body doesn't know that it's Christmas. That, you know, because I'm having that kilo, it needs to control it and just only take the 50 grams that I need for that time. No. Anything that is taken in excess in the system, unfortunately, is stored as fat. Glycogen fast, that's the reserve energy that you need, you know, just for you to be active, but the excess is stored as fat. And, you know, fat we have a lot of consequences when it comes to fats. All degenerative diseases associated to high fat levels. Apart from that, toxins, chemicals, all these things are stored in these fat tissues. So you find that during that time you may not know, but you're creating a lot of harm in your system. So it's good to balance so that the effect is not as much, or you're able to counteract that effect such that you're enjoying yourself, you're having fun, and not exposing your body to any dangers when it comes to keeping healthy.
Well, the question I'm about to ask is probably out of your expertise, but I mean, when it comes to the festivities, you're going from one home to the other, assuming especially if you're up country, you're going to see your aunt, I don't know, your grandmother's friend, and in every home you go to, they'll offer you a meal. How do you politely decline that without being rude?
You don't decline. Festivities is about food, and everybody we're offering that. You cannot say no because everybody else is eating. You cannot say no because you also want to eat. You know, you're there salivating, but in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I'm eating healthy, I don't need, no. Taking a balanced meal everywhere you go, small portions. If you have to go, like in a day, if you have to do 3 parties, then eat small, you know, small meals in the 3 of them to ensure that you have 1 meal at the end of the day. Don't overindulge, and then stop when you know, just do away with what you can when you're full.
So none of that, I'm so full, but I'm going to have 2 more pieces.
Don't force yourself. If you feel you're full, just stop at that level, because at the end of the day, health is you. You're the person you're the one who is in charge of your health. You're the person who makes the last conscious decisions of choosing healthy or unhealthy. So it's for you to decide. I've been eating since morning. I went to Wanjiko's house, I went to Njeri's house, now I'm at your house. So you need to control, because you know you've eaten so much during that period. So just control the portions and then have moderation. Maybe in the morning or lunchtime you had nyama choma. When you went again, you had too much of the starches. Now you're going to have dessert. You're also trying to balance it in in that long period of that whole day. And the thing is for you to strategize and come up with a plan. Otherwise, it's very difficult to overcome it. And simple things that, again, you can do. I know we stop exercising during this period.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hit the gym. You know, it's your time. But try to be active as well, you know, because if you're active, you help in burning fat, you help in digesting this food, you help in the cells, you know, getting rid of all these things that they don't need. So being a little bit active, even with your children, because we've forgotten to mention our kids. They're the ones that even overindulge than ourselves. I remember when I was young, Christmas was all about crisps, sodas, and biscuits. I had to have that throughout.
Okay, so then why don't we talk about that? How do you then control these portions for your children without making them feel like they're missing out? Because Christmas, as you mentioned, is about sweets and sodas and...
For our kids, I think, ensure that they eat healthy. Ensure that they're taking the 3 square meals. Ensure even before you give them the sodas and the crisps, all this junk food, that they've eaten healthy and that they've had a meal. That means, because their stomachs are small, but by the time they're going to ask for sodas and for crisps, they're already full, so they'll eat very little of that. And also a trick, include new varieties of healthy foods as much as they're going to have what they know is what they eat all the time. There are simple things that you can trick your children with. Play around with smoothies, you know. They're tasty smoothies these days, you know, yogurt, some bananas, some black carrots, you know, it's going to taste well, or an ice cream smoothie, you know, something that they'll also enjoy, such that they're reducing these unhealthy foods 100%. But at the end of the day, it's the person who prepares that meal, whether it's the mother or the father, that decides this Christmas, as much as we're going to have half of unhealthy foods, we'll also have half of healthy foods. And that's why it is important. And I wish we could do this every Christmas, just as a woman or as the man, come up with healthy, you know, discover your skills for cooking, your cooking skills, and come up with new recipes. There's so much that can be done instead of deep frying chicken. You can grill it, you can bake it, and it will still taste the same. Instead of having deep fried potatoes, and that's what we do a lot of, you can grill them and they'll taste the same. So it's also around playing around with your cooking skills to ensure that you have more healthy options of the same foods, such that even if we overindulge, we're also overindulging in the healthy way, because these foods are low in fat, they're high in fiber because you need that, and also the minimum amount of the toxins and chemicals in them are so little because you've invested in learning new recipes that you're going to use in that period.
Okay, but there are people who think, well, it's just this Christmas and New Year's, and then I'm going to start a detox. Then I'll be fine.
That's a bad way of looking at things, and this is one of the reasons why we fail to get into a healthy living regimen at the beginning of the next year, because you tell yourself, I'm going to do everything in these 2 weeks, the whole month, but when it comes to January 1st, I'm going to get into a detox program. Most of the time, and I know 90% of the time it doesn't work, but the tips that you can do throughout the festivity to ensure that it happens, in case you're not able to, go through that when the festivities are over, is if you're going to take a lot of nyama choma, drink water with it, or any other junk food. Take foods that are high in fiber. So ensure, even if you don't like salads, please have a side plate that has vegetables, live foods, a salad that is high in fiber. Fiber helps in digestion. It's going to remove all these from your system.
Can we talk about some of those foods that are high in fiber, just so that people know these specific foods?
So a tip, if you're going to have your nyama choma, please have 1 kilo of nyama and 2 kilos of veggies. It works like that. And that's how our bodies take it. The ratio of calcium to magnesium. Magnesium comes from veggies and calcium from proteins, from animal proteins. It's 1 to 2. So it tells you if you're going to eat 1 kilo of nyama, you have to take 2 kilos of sukuma wiki for that thing to, for all those things to be assimilated well. But of course, you don't need to get to that technical bit.
Yeah.
The thing that you need to do every time that you're going to eat a heavy meal, that mountain meal that oh, I need to enjoy myself, ensure there are salads there. Fiber is excellent for digestion. Fiber is excellent for washing your bowel, cleaning up your colon to ensure that all these things don't sit inside. So fiber is excellent. Vegetables and fruits also contain antioxidants, that counteract the free radical effect of any other thing that you could be taking in that meal that is not healthy. So vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzymes like Q10, minerals like selenium, in those vegetables.
This is all sounding so technical.
It's not. It's just it's just having 4 colors on your plate at every meal.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. So the 4 colors should be the green for the veggies.
You could be, green. You could have red, like tomatoes, whether you could have orange, maybe you had like carrots. You could have maybe like sweet potatoes, a different color to represent a nutrient. Ensure that, or even purple, dark purple, like we have the
red spinach,
we have beetroot, all that. You don't know, but it's helping you at that time. And then apart from that, drinking water at the specific time, and also being active to ensure that you're burning and you're digesting what you're eating.
All right. So my director has 2 questions. One of them is, does kachumbari count? Excuse me. Does kachumbari count as vegetables? That way, if I have my mountain of nyama choma, can I then have a mountain of kachumbari and call it a balanced diet?
No, unfortunately, kachumbari does not count, because chances of you, like I've mentioned, 1 portion, the ratio is 2. So if you're going to have a kilo of meat, then have 2 kilos of kachumbari, and that doesn't work. Anyway, you can have your kachumbari for taste, and chili is it's excellent for digestion, and it's also an appetite thing. It helps in increasing your appetite. But what do you need to do? Not just that alone. Please ensure that this time you'll introduce those salads that I'm talking about, to ensure that your system is also clean and healthy through this time. And also, as you're snacking in between these meals, snack on an apple, snack on a banana, take a watermelon. It doesn't hurt you to do just a slice of that. But as much as you think you may not see that it's something that is you're not gaining anything from it, but in the long run, they're actually helping you to keep healthy during this time.
Okay, you did mention something about water, and this is the second question coming from the gallery, which is, do you take the water before the meal or after the meal, and how soon before the meal?
Okay, water should not be you should not have water with your meals. This is because you don't want to wash the food down before it has been digested. You also want to reduce unhurried digestion. You want your food to be you also don't want to dilute your gastric juices by just drinking water immediately that you're having your meal. And the thing is, if you get thirsty when you're eating, it means that you don't drink enough water. That's why when you have that solid meal, your body is asking you for water at that time. So ensure you're taking your 8 glasses of water throughout and they're distributed well. But for water, take at least 15 minutes before your meals or 15 minutes after, but not with the food.
Not with the food.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Even for fruits.
And what are the risks of doing that? I mean, I know you've mentioned what it will do chemically, but how does it manifest? What will you feel? Will you feel bloated?
Yeah,
will you get gas?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what happens. You may feel bloatedness. You won't digest. The food is washed down to your bowel before it has been broken down into the simple particles that you need for your body to assimilate and take in the vitamins and minerals. So if you had taken a bite of ugali, carbohydrates are digested in the mouth anyway, or something, it's washed down before the breaking down has happened. The breaking down process is hurried, so you do not get the bioavailability for these foods 100% because you've drank water at that time.
Okay, so
you need to give your body a break 15 minutes before or after. If you're getting thirsty as you eat, you're not drinking enough water. So it's a tip to tell you tomorrow, take more water, your 8 glasses, so that you don't get thirsty at that time, because there are no digestive fluids to push this food down when you're eating at that time because you did not take water.
Okay, so why don't we talk about the some of those common issues that we experience during these festive seasons? Bloatedness, indigestion,
yes,
throwing up, diarrhea for some people, food poisoning. Are there meals we can eat to sort of even prevent these conditions before they occur? And are there organic or healthy ways of dealing with it instead of just taking Eno?
You see, when these things, even some of them happened before, but we actually feel the bulk the following day or 2 weeks later. Or there are small things like you've talked about indigestion, you've talked about bloatedness. There are things like low energy levels. You don't even feel like waking up or doing anything. But what do you need to do? I talked about taking fiber before or drinking water, but if the harm has already been done, it's the following day, it's 26th Boxing Day, and you're feeling that.
Yeah.
What are the tips that you can, what are the things that you can do to ensure that this works well for you, because you still need to go for another function that day? Take lemon water in the morning. When you wake up, if you're feeling the downside, you don't even feel like getting out of bed, just drink water with a little bit of lemon. You just squeeze fresh lemon in water and warm water and drink. It actually helps. Lemon not only is a cleanser, it's an alkalizer. It's going to improve your digestion, so this helps at that time. The other things you can do at that time is increasing your vitamin C. So if you wanted to take like oranges, you can do oranges at that time, and maybe in juice form if you're not able to take the actual fruit. That one will also help in cleansing, and also drinking a lot of water at that time. And you can tell yourself, because I ate so much the previous day, before my next meal, the only things that I'll be taking today are foods that are high in fiber, foods that will increase my digestion to reduce the, acidity to indigestion. So the foods that will help in letting that out, and also drinking lots of water at that time. Those are small, even taking nuts. Those are small things that you can do the following day to ensure that you don't feel the bulk of what you ate the previous day.
Okay. So the other thing people experience a lot during the holidays, hangovers, because there's a lot of alcohol consumption. And because the hours sort of overlap, drinking starts early and it goes on till very late. Any tidbits on this?
The drinking rule, golden rule, is take in moderation. And we have the portions that we advise by doctors. You know, the 24 units for men, 22 units for women, meaning that...
What does that mean, 24 units?
It means that
how
if
many
it's
beers is that?
Christmas, you've gone for this party, you only take a glass of wine, period. Not more than that. So if you take more than that, it's more than the body needs, and that's why you have hangover. The following day, you just feel like you just feel like you cannot get your head up. It's so heavy. And what is hangover? It's the damaged cells trying to get back to life. They've been attacked by this alcohol. Naturally, we have an enzyme known as in the liver, known as alcohol dehydrogenase, that breaks down alcohol, any form of alcohol, whether it's from what we drink or from the things that we add in our salads or anything. So this alcohol dehydrogenase that is produced by the liver helps in breaking it down. But when it's too much, when you're taking too much than the body needs at that time, of course now you see the effects. That's why you have hangover. You have that headache, and headache means that, I've forgotten to mention, your brain cells are killed.
Oh, wow.
When you take alcohol and in excess. And the only cells that you cannot replace are your brain cells. You can replace any other cells, but not your brain cells. And also alcohol is a diuresis. When you drink alcohol and people frequent the loo, what you remove in that toilet is water. And you know, we don't know this. You think it's the alcohol that you're removing when you go there, but it's water. You're dehydrating your system. So all these things put together, and considering or talking about that alcohol is, you're getting empty calories. You're just adding more fat into your system. Empty calories are stored into glycogen and then fat. So when all these things are happening, that's why when you say empty calories, it means they are not beneficial to you. No, you're not getting anything out of them. So alcohol has empty calories. You're just getting, and that's why people say, look at people who drink beer. They have big tummies because they've done this for a long time. And you find you're not benefiting your system. So what do you do? What are you going to do about this? Just take it in moderation. And if you have to take more, I don't want to advocate for people to drink in excesses, no. Only what is recommended if you must drink. And the best way is to stay without taking it. Then drink lots of water at that time. Take what is recommended, then drink water to ensure that you dilute and you counteract all these things that I'm talking about.
But for the person who feels that a glass of wine is simply not realistic for me in this period, is there a way to sort of balance it out with everything that you're taking?
That's what I was saying. Health is your choice. And the one on 25th or 24th, or even tomorrow, because the festivities have started, I'll decide. I'll tell myself, should I be taking one glass of wine? Should I be taking a bottle of wine? Should I swim in all this alcohol that is there? It is important to understand in this day and age, health is your responsibility, not even what we are saying today here. Because we have people around us, relatives, parents, children, who have degenerative diseases. And what does that mean? It is something that we've put on ourselves. So it is for us, it is up to us to come out and decide that it's not going to happen to me, because I'm going to be more careful. I have to be more careful. I have to be more realistic. I have to work my way to reduce my risks or my chances of getting these diseases. Otherwise, if you do not have that in your mind, then there's no point of even discussing what you're saying, eating healthy, because it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it is your health that we are looking out to. It is your health. We want you to improve it. And because we know Western world, in Nairobi, in Kenya today, there is so much that is going on. Then we need to control as it's coming. We need to have preventing measures to ensure that we keep healthy in this changing environment.
All right. You did talk about taking care of each other as well, and we spoke about children earlier. So what about the diet for the elderly? Because it's that temptation. Your great-grandmother is there, you're serving her a meal, you know, you want to slice up the meat into tiny little pieces. But are there specific foods that can be just as delicious and just as festive for them, but are healthy?
I think for our elderly, it depends on the age. But if you have teeth, sorry, and you can chew, then there's nothing that they cannot eat. What I've noticed, I've been around a lot of elderly people. They're not nyama choma fan, by the way. And even if they were, if you serve them with any food that you're having at that time, The only thing that they reduce is the sugary stuff and the junk foods because they don't need a lot of that. So you can decide, even if you're going to have their ndomas or guashes, your dan chapati or pilau, it's something they can eat. If the elderly person, depending on their health condition, if they don't take animal protein, then you can decide to alternate that protein with a vegetable source. So you can do black beans, you can do green grams, you can do soy products, something that they'll also feel that they're having fun as everybody else is eating. If they don't have special requirements, then ensure that they're having the nyama, but in small quantities, and then with a lot of fiber, like I talked about. There's no like special diet for the elderly, only if you have a special condition that needs to be addressed in advance before you get to the festivity. And then for our elderly, the best thing is that they won't even overindulge with the alcohol. Alcohol is young people who do it. They'll drink water. You can even make fresh juices. I forgot to mention this. Instead of going for the soft drinks, you can do fresh juices that taste well. The bottom line here is that even if it is Christmas, even if you're going to change into healthy foods, don't make foods that people hate. I don't want to make a meal that people in my family won't want to have because it's not so tasty. I go for taste, but I go for healthy foods that have taste. So it's a matter of also adding taste to what you have because it's festivity, so that every other person enjoys. Because you could wake up tomorrow and decide, oh, it's Christmas, I want everybody to eat healthy, so we're going to have maybe, I don't know, what? Oats or something that has no taste. So people won't enjoy, and healthy living is about enjoying and enjoying what you're eating, and the taste is very important when it comes to eating healthy.
Okay, so then I know we've spoken about the daily portion requirement for red meat. Does that still apply for chicken and fish?
Yeah.
I'm really insisting on this nyama choma story.
Even if we talked for the whole day today, we'll never change those portions. It's not me who decides. The World Health Organization is the one that tells us the RDA that you need for your proteins is between 40 and 80 grams. So on average, because we're not very active, 50 grams can last you a day. So whether it's chicken, whether it's fish, but when now the white meats come into place, it's when we're told that the best meats to take, of course, are the white meats, fish is the best. And if it's chicken, go for organic chicken. Roadrunner chicken, not
Kenyeji.
not the broilers. So it means that if you're taking the right portion, and even if you don't know how to choose that, we are told simple ways by just using your palm. This bit, the width of your palm and the square around your palm.
That seems a little unfair,
that's
given
what you
that
should
my
be
hand
eating.
is quite small.
Yes,
this is hardly a portion.
That's what you should eat. So just measure. That's a simple way of measuring with that. There are even simple ways of measuring with your phone, like the amount of carbohydrates you should take. But because these days you have tablets and these big phones, you cannot measure with that. But basically what the standard measure that we have is just your palm. That's the protein you should have.
So this is how much food you should have, not the entire hand, but just
your protein,
the
just
palm.
this square.
And that's the width.
And that's the width.
So no
more than that. So even if it's chicken, then just measure with that.
Okay.
And we are told in basic terms, simple terms, you're told 3 to 4 square meals, 3 to 4 medium-sized pieces of that protein. So if it's nyama, you're like seeing 4 pieces on the plate, no more than that. It's only that for nyama, half of the plate is nyama. So it should not be the dominant thing on the plate. It should be a little bit on the side.
Okay.
But even if you're going to overindulge, I talked about a lot of salads alongside what you're going to have in water. You're exercising through this time, and you've cooked this meat in a more healthier way than what you basically do.
Okay, so as we wrap up, perhaps if you have any other tidbits that you want to give our viewers as they go into this indulging season.
My tips are all around eating, and some of the things that we do, if you're not so strong-willed when it comes to avoiding or not doing, you can't resist when you have all these desserts, these chocolate things, then don't sit around the buffet. If you're going to have a meeting, if you're going to have a party, the buffet is that side, you guys are sitting on the other side. That works well for you. Then eat beforehand. Don't eat at that time. If you have to overindulge, then take small pieces, small portions of what is around you. Drink lots of water, and then ensure this time that you're exercising. But let it work in harmony such that you're not there thinking, oh, I don't need to do this. Because when you interrupt your mind and think about it, you won't enjoy the festive season. You won't enjoy what is around you.
Okay. And for, you know, the people who host quite a bit, what are some of the things that they can put in their biting bowls for people to enjoy while still remaining healthy?
Oh, there are simple things. More salads, I talked about this, that have been dressed in the right way. More nuts, more seeds, you know, nuts and seeds, more fruits, more portions that are in their natural state than things that are refined or processed. So more fruits, more nuts, more salads. They can more water. They can do fresh juices at the same time. And then they'll also have this other portion of unhealthy foods, such that if you're going to serve, you're going to balance. You'll have a little bit of this, and then you'll be tempted. You know, it's all about eating. So I'll look at the nuts on this side, and oh, they look so tasty. So I'll also take a little bit of that. But it's a way of balancing all that together. And if that doesn't work, then review your cooking methods. If you've been deep frying all the time, then try to grill. You know, learn new recipes that will work for you. If you're putting a lot of sugar-laden drinks and all those things, then make fresh juices. If you're using the wrong ingredients when you're cooking, then have an alternative such that your buffet is long, but with healthy foods on the side, such that we have a variety. If it is a mother, if it is your house, then have options for your children, for your husband, to ensure that they know as much as they're doing this, they also have to do this. But they're tasty foods so that they also enjoy. And when you work in harmony, you know, it's something that is working as you enjoy the festivities. But at the end of the day, you're thinking about your health. What is the harm that I'm making through these 3-4 weeks that will affect my health in the next year?
Okay, I know you also mentioned fruit and juices, and I've seen people who've been on extreme diets where the only thing they consume is fruits and fresh juices, or just vegetables and fresh juices. Is this advisable?
I don't think it is. You know, there's a craze that came out some years back about detoxification and staying without any solid food and just taking juices. There could be harm if it is not done under a physician, because there are chances of hypervitaminosis. There are chances of high acid.
What is hypervitaminosis?
If when you're taking too much vitamins, you could be taking carrot juice. I had a client, let me talk about this. And this client used to take 16 glasses of carrot juice every day.
Did they turn orange?
She actually did. That's it. But you see, on a healthy mind, you think that's fine, but it's not. Vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts. Second, we don't understand that our bodies detoxify naturally. You don't need to add things for your body to detoxify. You don't need to say that your system has broken down, it cannot detoxify. Your liver is the main detox engine, and it does this every day. But if you're eating unhealthy, you must enhance it. So you must enhance the detox process. So the fruits and veggies are important, but which ones do you work with? Low sugar fruits and non-acidic fruits, you know, the ones that will assist you. But don't go to the extreme.
So what are the low sugar fruits?
Watermelon, avocado, pawpaw. There are things that you can add. And then you don't do acidic when you're doing those programs, but you need to know the program that you're following and then work with a doctor. I think for me it's better that you're drinking the juices. You've overindulged on 25th. So you decide on 26th, you'll only take juices, which is fine. You'll drink water, you'll exercise, you'll drink the vegetables, juices, you'll do salads, that's fine. But when it's beyond a day, 2 days, 3 days, then it may be harmful to your health. And that's why it is important that you need to work, you need to know, is it right for me to do this at this time? But we also decide, as an individual, you may know what is right, what is not right. Don't go to the extremes. The detox juices are okay, but don't overdo them.
Don't overdo them. I think that's a message that
and work with a physician and do it right.
Don't overdo them and do it right. Woof, that's a message I need to remember beginning today. We've been speaking to Kate Kibara, who is the CEO of Kate's Organics. You've probably seen her products in your favorite supermarket. She believes in wellness naturally. I think that quite sums up this interview this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you for being such lovely and loyal viewers. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. My name is Edith Kimani. We're counting down to Christmas, and the show is about to get real different. If I were you, I would not miss this show tomorrow. Stay tuned, skip KTN, and have a good day.